I'm here in Guelph with the Hamilton Spectator, Steve Milton. And Steve, the Ticats had their official launch of their season in Guelph today. What were your impressions of the event?
My first take, Drew, is to commend you for what you've been telling me all along. For people that don't know, Drew lives in Guelph, and he's been saying for some time that this is a real feel-good story in this town, and it was extraordinarily obvious today. Now, of course, the kind of people they're inviting to this are people who are going to come to these games, but there are people there, they're buying 10 and 12, and I talked to one guy who was the point man for 50 seasons tickets. So the town is embracing this, and I think that gives the Ticats a bit of a tailwind heading in, and it was a good thing the players were here. There was 4 or 5 players here today, and it was good for them to see that. And they were the leaders, a lot of the leaders. So guys like Stala and Diakowski were here, and Hayes, and they're the ones that have to sell a lot of things to this team in the clubhouse. And I think them seeing the enthusiasm here today really, really helped.
Speaking of the players, we talked to Ken Dawson, the head coach of the Ticats. He's obviously given this some thought. Can this be a competitive disadvantage for the Ticats?
Oh, without doubt, this can be a competitive disadvantage, and I think Kent recognizes that, and right away he came up with one philosophy right away. We're not going to play the circle of the wagons. In other words, woe is us against the world kind of thing, because first of all, that's an insult to the people here, but mostly that lets somebody else dictate who you are. What they want to do is dictate who they are, and what his theory is, and I don't know how he's going to accomplish this or affect it, is we are the home team here, and you're so far not the home team here. You're 1,000 miles from being the hometown here. We're going to make it real difficult on you. So they're trying to find ways, I think, within the football structure to make this their home field and give it a competitive edge. And I think there's ways to do that. I'm just not sure what they are.
The Ticats have obviously done a lot to try and make this a good fan experience. We saw some artist renderings of the stadium, and they're going to do some things for the fans here. Do you think this can be an enjoyable experience for fans?
Oh, I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a hot ticket. I think after a little while, unless, knock on whatever, this team starts 0-7 or something like that, it's going to be awful. And a lot of it's going to come down to that. It can be awful here if the team really, really stinks. I don't imagine that's going to happen, but I haven't imagined it the last few years either. I think it could be a tremendous experience. I think you're going to have a cultural issue at the start, because you're going to have people that are longtime Hamilton fans, and let's face it, some of them are still and will never be anything but resentful about this. There's nothing that the Cats could do about it, but the Guelph people will be very, very happy here. This is big league, right? I mean, and it big league comes to town, and I think that's an important thing, and it'll have an overriding effect. And I think by the end you'll see what you've seen at Ivor Win forever. Everybody gets to know everybody, and I think the fact is the fans will feel almost more unique than the players will, because they're going through something that nobody else is getting a chance to do here. Not just that it's on the road, but it's 2 different cities, and this is pretty unusual.
Make sure you check out Thursday Spectator for all the story from Guelph. Reporting with the Spectator, Steve Milton. I'm Drew Edwards.